Carlos, afternoon. Can we start with your team news and Alex Pritchard and the latest on his scan? Have you had the results back? What's the prognosis with him?
Yes, he had an injury in the ankle, and I think he will miss maybe around 3 weeks more. He's not going to be able to be with the squad and with the team.
How disappointing is that? He was just starting to have a bit of an impact for you, wasn't he?
Yes, I think Alex Pritchard started to play all the first three games of the year and playing 90 minutes in each game, and he did a fantastic. He made a fantastic effort for the team, and he started to grow as a player. After this moment, he had one injury. He missed the next games, but he played the second half with Birmingham, I think with a positive performance, and he was playing the first 11 versus Millwall with a, for me, maybe the best minutes of him in the pitch for the team. So of course, every time you lose one player, you are disappointed with the missing of any player, but especially in Pritchard because was one player that was growing in the right direction.
Is one positive that it's the international break, I suppose. So there's 2 weeks without a game. That just allows him to recuperate, doesn't it? Not missing any actual matches for you.
Yes, because I think if during this league, during this year, we lose one player for 2 or 3 weeks, means that they are going to lose nine games. So this is a lot. So of course, every time we have an injury, the perfect thing of the injury is to have in a period where you are not playing games. So now he missed after Millwall the previous game, and he missed the second half of the Millwall game. He missed the full game the other day, and he's going to miss this game. And I hope that we can have him as soon as possible.
On the positive front, we know that Danny Ward returned to training on Monday, you told us. How's he found the first couple of days back training with the group?
I think that you say he came to the group, he got to the squad in this week. Of course, he's not making all the minutes that the other players can make because we need to progress with camp. Today we are going to make one test more specific with more demanding training for him just to see if he can be available or not available for tomorrow.
Right, so there's a possibility then that he could be involved in the squad on Saturday.
Yes, there is one possibility that he can be involved with the team.
Wow, that's fantastic. Is that sooner than you expected then? Did you expect him to be possibly in contention before the international break?
It was a very long-term injury, so he didn't play any of the first league games. So it's like was one injury that spent more time that for me than the time that we expect him to have. But at the end, he could recover it. Now he's not having the same fitness level of any player because we know that he was long-term with different type of work, with the work that he could do. But now, in the moment that he started training with the group, we need to see today if he is able to be tomorrow with the squad or no. But it doesn't mean that he can play 90 minutes. It doesn't mean that he's going to have the normal level that he has to have. But the positive thing is like if we continue now with his progress, we hope to have him during the next 2 weeks to can adapt to the normal fitness level and the football level that the player needs.
And Alex Vallejo as well. I know you've said that he's going to take some time to get up to speed, but from what you've seen in his first few days of training with the group, have you been pleased with where he's at for this moment?
With Alex Vallejo, we need to be very calm because he's a player that was a long time without play, and at the same time after was some months without him, working by himself, and he was even if he was with a individual fitness coach, he wasn't making the normal dynamic of one player in the team. So you need a little bit of adaptation to have the contact, the relation with the players, because never is the same to keep your fitness levels to can train after football, but now the next step is to training the collective football. So we need to be a little bit patient. He was playing some minutes the other day with the B team. Unfortunately, he turned his ankle and he missed some of the minutes that we wanted to give to him. Then we need to be thinking that he is in the start of his preparation. So we cannot be thinking nowadays him in the squad.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Isaac Mbenza, who played fantastically well, I thought, the other night and set up the goal, of course. We spoke to him afterwards and he seemed like he's enjoying the role that he has in this side. How impressed have you been by him and his attitude recently and the way that he's made himself an important part of your side?
I think he's working in the right way. He's working with the same dynamic of the other players. Like I said to you, there was one fact that showed well about him, that he was ready to add to the squad before the squad training, because he was stopping the league in March in France when he was in loan. So for me, from he arrived to this club and from I started to work with him, I was watching one player with all the ambition to can help the team, making all the effort that he needed to do. And at the same time, for me, the first of all that you need to win is the love of the teammates, or the respect of the people. And it was exactly what he did. Because when you give everything, we are not talking about if we can cross better or finish it better or pass better or dribbling better or defend better or worse. The first step is to give everything to the teammates to show that you want to help them. And it was exactly what he did from he started to work with us. So I don't have any particular thing different or any feeling different that I have with him or with the other teammates. He was one more of the players that have the commitment to help the teammates, trying to make trying to have a good performance.
Do you think he can have a pivotal part to play for you, though? Many might have felt under previous regimes, under previous managers before you arrived, his time was looking like it might come to an end at Huddersfield, but seemingly he looks a little bit renewed now. Do you think he can play a pivotal part for you moving forwards?
You're talking about Isaac, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's why he's playing, because I think that he's one of our important players. He's one of our first team players of the squad. We know that our number of players, about the not the young players, about the experience with more experience. Even if he's young because he's 24 years old, he's one of the most experienced players, he has the experience enough in the first team, and I think he's one of the players that are going to be there, because he's showing that he has the ambition to help the team, and he has the ambition to make something important in this club. And this is the most important thing from the player, when they have the ambition to give everything that they can do to the fans and to the club and to the teammates.
When you look at your last couple of home games, you've gone ahead in both of them, and then a couple of goals back to back very quickly has seen you lose the game. When you analyse that, how do you explain that? How do you review it and work out what's been going on in those scenarios?
I think the goals that we concede versus Preston are totally different from the goals that we concede the other day versus Bristol. So are different type of situation and are different type of goals. I think for example, the second goal that we received versus Preston was a lack of communication in this moment between the keeper and the central back, and between us. They didn't have to create the chances, like we held them in the chance to score, for example, the other goal. The second goal versus Preston the other day, I think was different, because being honest, I was expecting one team pressing more in the moment that they were losing the game, and they were playing the second half with the need to change the result of the team of the game. And I think in this moment the team managed the ball comfortable, but not enough aggressive to create a second chance and try to create a second goal to open this gap. I think in some of the moments immediately after we score the first goal, we have the chances. In some of the moments in the first half, we have one or two chances, but maybe not enough to kind of balance more the game, because at the end, when you have only one goal of difference, in championship, anything can happen in any minute. So you can have one accident in any moment and they can draw the game. And after, you need to know how to manage very well the feelings. It's like, that's why for me it's special to be football player, because, and especially more in championship, because you are going to move from 1 week where everyone is happy and you are happy and you come from a very good winning, and 2 days later you come and you need to manage the opposite feeling, because you concede 2 goals and you lose one game at home. This is something that we don't want. But at the same time, this is our responsibility, is to manage these feelings during the games, and at the same time, this emotion in the same game. Of course, every time you are watching that you are winning, you are watching that you control one game, and you are watching and feeling that the opponent is not creating any problem, because until we concede the first goal, until that moment, even if they have a little bit more the ball, they didn't create any chance. But in the moment they have the first chance, in the second half, they score the goal, you start to have doubts. And it's something that of course, we should manage better, or something that we need to learn to manage. Because I think as a team, we need to mature. And it's something, for me, the maturity is going to be one of the skills that every team need to have in this championship. And you can learn the maturity from experience that you didn't live, or sometimes, unfortunately, we need to be a more mature team from the situation that we are living. Then we need to learn a lot from these minutes, try to, first of all, in the moment, try to avoid any chance of the opponent, something that this is, for me, everything that we want. In the second half, if you analyze, they had 3 chances, and in these 3 chances, they scored 2 goals. But I don't say that 3 chances is a lot, or is not, or is just a little bit. Is that we need to try to reduce every chance of the opponent. This is what we want. But at the same time, we know that we face opponents that are in front of us with his level, with the quality, and especially for me, after the change, they have more fresh players who could unbalance the game. But when you analyze very clear these 12 minutes, I think the team didn't play brilliant, but at the same time, they didn't create enough maybe to have the result that they have. So, but at the end, we need to accept this. Like, they create 3 chances, and in these 3 chances, they score twice. So it was enough to win us. So what we need to do is, in the minutes that we have the ball, trying to create more chance, trying to have more difference in the result. Because I think in this game, maybe if we score the second goal, they didn't find the energy and the motivation or the support or the trust on them to change the result. But like we couldn't do in one moment, in one action that for me we could avoid, they scored the goal, and they find in the first players and in this goal the motivation enough to go for the game, and it was what they achieved, unfortunately, and it was what we couldn't stop. Then we need to learn from this moment, trying to stop in the next circumstances, knowing that always this is the challenge.
So from the sounds of what you say there, it sounds like it's 2 factors. When you go ahead, you're not necessarily doubling down on that and keeping going forwards for the second opportunity to get the second goal. And then the other factor is when you get pegged back, when you get an equaliser, it's that maturity. Is that anxiety rather than maturity, do you feel, creeping in?
For me, no, anxiety is like, I didn't feel anxiety in the players. I was thinking that the team was a little bit surprised by the fact that they didn't press enough in these minutes, trying to change the dynamic of the results. And in this moment where they didn't press enough and they were more compact, maybe we didn't know how to attack one team that was defending one result that was a little bit negative for them in that moment. So in this moment, we, instead to try to attack, to create chance, we move the ball more just to have the ball. And the moment you just move the ball to have the ball, you are not creating the difference in the result that you can create. But at the same time, it's difficult to create chance with one team that they were defending more as a block team and trying to defend that we could score 1 goal more. So for me, it's just experience. It's just manage better some game situation that we need to learn how to do better.
And when you look at results, and the Championship itself is a very inconsistent league, we know that, but is it all part of the process of transitioning into a Carlos Corberán side? I suppose the players learning what you want from them is going to at times create weeks where you'll have a fantastic result at the weekend, a 3-0 win away from home against a very good side, and then you might have a result that dips afterwards. Is that all part of the process? Is that all part of the expectation that you had coming into this situation?
We know that this year, face every game is going to be a high challenge. So it doesn't mean that we want to prepare as a team to come face all these challenges, but it doesn't mean that we are going to be ready to face all the games in the perfect conditions. It's like, but I don't think only us, any team. So the team that be more consistency in the good performance for me is going to be able to add consecutive winnings, something that is very difficult and very tough in Championship, and especially when you are playing many consecutive games. But at the same time, what we want is like what we try to do is to create one team that try to be better than the opponent in each game and try to be better than the opponent in 90 minutes. This is the highest challenge that we can. After, maybe you have what I want, the next step is not only be the best than the opponent in 90 minutes. When we are not better than the opponent, we want that the opponent don't be better than us in some of the games. It will be for me the second step. If we are going to be better than the opponent in 90 minutes, don't be worse than the opponent in any moment of the game. And the third scenario is like, if you are worse than the opponent in any moment of the game, try to don't concede any goal in this moment, trying to can face the game in the perfect way. So what we want to have is to have one team more ready to face better the opponent in the majority part of the minutes that we are going to face.
Before we come on to Luton, can I ask you about the plans for the group for the international break? Do you have plans to give them time off, time to relax, time to recuperate, or do you plan to work them incredibly hard throughout? How do you use an international break, Carlos?
I think we need minutes. We are going to need days for everything. The moment you are focused on one thing, we will make a mistake. First of all, we need some players need to recover from the number of games, from the number of minutes that they are playing, because it's necessary for them. But at the same time, not everyone, because we have some young players that are not playing a lot of minutes, and they need to continue his developed progress, and they are going to be part of this group of the squad that we have with young players, so they need to continue be working. And at the same time, we have like player like Alex Vallejo was a new player, or player like, for example, the Danny Ward that was, or Eamon Green, even if he's young, they are players that they couldn't work normally with the team. We have plans of work with them too. After we have a small gap of break, we are going to try to work with a higher number of players that we can work together. We know that we are going to lose some players for the international commitment that they have, but at the same time, with the players that we have here, we are going to continue trying to grow, because in this year, you don't have a lot of moments with 1 week to work. We know that in the last 4 weeks, we didn't have time enough to training. We have time to prepare the games and to recover from the games. So it was just a different period of the season. But now we have 2 weeks. So what we want is to use the first week to recover and to start in adaptation for some players. And at the same time, to continue hard working with the players that or couldn't work with the team in the same conditions. And the second part of this international break, we'll try to improve the collective behavior of the team.
And finally, from me then, Luton, what does your analysis tell you about them as a team?
I think Luton is a dangerous game when the players start to think that yes, you can win one team just for the name, or because 2 years ago they were in League One and we were in Premier League. For me, Luton was a player that, first of all, they promote from League One to Championship, because they have players able to be in Championship. They don't promote. They were suffering at the beginning of the last year, but after they changed the manager, with the new manager, the last year, the 9 games that they were under the new manager, they only lost 1 game under this manager. That's why they continue playing in Championship. So they saw that they had enough level to continue playing in Championship. It was something that they deserved. But themselves, with this team, with the squad and the manager, they deserve to be there. For me, they have very good players. If you analyze, for example, Colin or Gornik, one of the strikers that they have, just between both players, they scored 23 goals the last year. So I respect a lot the collective performance of one team that only lost 1 game, the last 9 games of the last year, and at the same time with players that they had an impact the last year in Championship. And now in this year, in total under this manager, they have played 22 games and they only have lost 6 games. So it means that they are a team very difficult to beat. At the same time, they have 3 points more than us right now in the competition. So it means that they are in a higher position than us. They have 3 points more. And what I expect is a real battle, a real war, because I know how they defend, I know how they face the game, and the last thing that I expect is to have one easy game. I expect to have one very, very, very tough game. They are going to try to extend the dynamic with the result that they get versus Rotterdam 2 days ago, and we will try to change the dynamic that we had in the last game, or the result of our last game in this next game. But to get this is going to be very demanding. But I don't say this just to give the message. I say this because I analyze the opponent. And I try to watch what they do in the pitch. And I know how hard was for the teams that beat them in this year to do it. So I know that it's going to be one game that is going to demand again the best of us during 90 minutes.
Thank you, Carlos. All the best for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.